Sales Ascenders, what's up? In this video, I'm going to share 9 weapons of mass influence. It's Thirsty Thursday, Sales Ascender. I hope you're having an amazing day today. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking and caring. Today, I got a really great question for the high ticket tuners. So let's just jump right into it, should we? So today's question actually came from Julie, and Julie asks this. She says, Sean, how do I truly influence someone? And so I thought about this question a tremendous amount, and I've been in this space for 20 plus years. And so today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you 9 weapons of mass influence that you could put into your world and you can use so that you can dominate any and every market, in any conversation that you have moving forward. So let's just jump right into it. So what are the 9 weapons of mass influence? Some of this was taken from Jeff Walker's perfect product launch formula, which he's a stud in the space, but let's just move on. So first and foremost, authority. Authority is the #1 mass influence weapon that we can have. And what does this mean? Well, people tend to follow people in positions of authority. Think about this for a minute. Last time you went to a doctor and you went to the doctor and the doctor didn't come out and say, hey, we need to give you the surgery on your knee because it's busted. No, the doctor said, hey, well, what's going on with your world? What's happening in your life? Why does your knee hurt? And you give him some reasons and he tests around and he feels your knee and then he says, okay, you don't need surgery. You need ice and Tylenol. In that case, because he's wearing the white lab coat and he's the authority in the space, he's got the degrees on the wall behind him, all of a sudden you say, okay, Mr. Doctor, that sounds good. I'm going to take Tylenol and I'm going to put ice on my knee. And then he says, if it gets worse, call me back and we'll move forward. So the first thing is to understand you got to have some authority. Now, authority could mean you personally have gotten the results. A, that's the best way to do it, right? Get the results for yourself. Or B, if you're just getting started and you're like, Sean, I don't have the authority yet, borrow it from somebody else. What do I mean? Well, you can say, hey, I'm on a mission to go do this thing over here. I'm being trained by these 3 people. They're the top best people in the world. By the way, we'll find some coaches that make some sense to help you get there. And they're actually sharing a lot of the tools that I'm going to be using in my business, not only to help you, but also help myself and go in this direction. And that will give you the conversation piece, if you're not there yet, of how you can generate authority. So remember, people tend to follow people in positions of authority. Step number 2, reciprocity. This is the second weapon of mass influence. What does this mean? If somebody gives us something, we feel obligated to actually give it back, right? This could mean in your world, hey, I've got this free PDF lead magnet that I can give you, or hey, go watch this video over here, or give them something. This is the giver's gain mentality. This is the idea that if people feel indebted after they receive something from you, and just because that's the way that the world works. So always give first before you expect to get it. That's the rule here. This is how you influence other people. So if you have something that you can share with people, give it to them. But here's the secret. Don't give away all of your secret sauce. Why? Because if you give away all your secret sauce, then people are just going to take your secret sauce and go and use it. If you are going to give away all of your secret sauce, do it in bite-sized chunks, right? So for example, we teach high ticket sales, how to close every high ticket sales conversation from any place and anywhere. And so for reciprocity, one of the things we do is we say, hey, let's teach you our sales method. And then we will budget out all of the pieces of our sales method. It's a 7-step process. And we give people first step today, second step tomorrow, third step, and so on and so forth. So we do leak it out, but in small quantities, because sometimes people watch the whole thing. Sometimes people only grab one thing. Whatever it comes down to, that's the thing they're going to be using in order to grow their business. So reciprocity is number 2. What's number 3, Sean? Well, number 3 is trust. The ultimate shortcut to becoming influential is to have trust with somebody. This takes a little bit of time. This is where the experts say, hey, 7 to 12 touch points equals trust, right? The know, like, and trust piece, right? So imagine a trusted parent or a teacher. When you go into that classroom, the teacher's been teaching for years and has really great reviews and all this other stuff. You immediately trust that person. Why? Because not only they have authority and reciprocity, they're giving knowledge to you, but also you trust them because they've been doing it for a long period of time. So the idea here is 7 to 12 touch points will get you into that trust zone, and then you can move forward with your influence. Next is anticipation, number 4. So anticipation is the trigger that allows you to cut through the marketing fog, right? As you're moving your business forward, one of the things you want to think about is, man, how do I stand out? What's the anticipation that I can create? And this is a trigger, right? So think about Christmas just for one instant. Now, in your world, what does Christmas look like? Well, you could be having an event that's up and coming. You could be having some new product or some new PDF or lead magnet or anything in your business that you're going to market. Make it an event, right? So we talk about the anticipation. Hey, this thing's coming, this thing's coming, this thing's coming. Think about Christmas, right? When you're a little kid, you're saying, oh man, I hope I get that toy. And I'm so in anticipation of getting that thing. I'm going to wait. I'm so excited. And it generates this like thing where you just want to go and you can't wait for it, right? So anticipation is the next thing of massive influence. So think about how to create anything in your business that could become some sort of an anticipated thing for your prospects. Number 5, likability. Right? We talked about this. We enjoy doing business with people we know, like, and trust. Very simple. One thing that I can share with you is bots are not likable. They may seem cool. They may have cool names. However, have you ever purchased anything that's high ticket, meaning $2,000 or more from a bot? I'm probably guessing not, right? I've never done that. And so for bots can be the downfall, right? So that's why a lot of people are not seeing as much success as they could by getting involved with using a lot of bots. And so the idea here is we need to build a relationship with a person, not a machine. And this is why our business will always flourish. Your business will always flourish as long as you're continuing to make good connections and good contacts and speak with the people so you can actually develop know, like, and trust, because when they like you, guess what? They're most likely going to buy from you. Number 6, events and rituals. Look, events create magnetism. This goes back to a little bit of anticipation, but it also gives everybody an opportunity to connect, create a ritual. Like, for example, ClickFunnels, love Russell Brunson more than anything ever. And he puts on his Funnel Hackers Live every single year. Well, that's a ritual now because he's been doing it for 5-6 years now, where everybody can rally around this ritual, this event where we get to connect, and we get to go do some cool things. And it creates this magnetism within the culture of the organization. So if you're not doing events, I highly encourage you to either do a virtual event or actually put on a small event. If you have the gusto to go do that, it's definitely powerful. And I know it works really well. The example here I said was paid ads versus live events. Paid ads are typically not an event or a ritual, but they are a way to generate opportunity and traffic, but it only starts the conversation. Whereas a live event is something that everybody can, like all the mass weapons of influence, can provide what's needed for you to gain the likability and all the other things. So when they come to your event, oh my gosh, you're the attractive character in your world. And now we've created this magnetism of, I can't miss that event any longer. That's a big piece of influence. Number 7, community, right? We need to create community. We act in accordance with how we think people in our community are supposed to act. What does that mean? Well, if you're inside of some sort of I'd never go religious, but I'll share a religious idea for a second. What's a church? A church is a congregation of people that believe the same thing. And that's cool, and I dig it. But here's what's interesting is inside of that congregation, everybody in that community is most likely, like 95% likely, to act in the same way as the other people are acting. So we act in accordance with how we think people in our community are supposed to act. So if you think going to this church and doing this, wearing these clothes, doing this thing is right, you're probably just going to wear that because you look and it's a social norm. So watching or building a community for yourself is very, very critical. Now, if you don't have a community, that's okay, right? Because now if we're going to do an event or a ritual, or we're going to do some sort of a launch or something like that, you can actually start to build connectivity inside of the group. There's a lot of good ways to do this. Sometimes if you're taking sales calls, at the end of the sales call, say, hey, did you get some value out of this call? They're going to say, yes. Would you do me a humongous favor? Like, I'm trying to actually get on the phone with a lot of my community members. Could you just go make a quick post in our group, for example, where they can now, see that you had a good experience with me, and then ask them to get on a call with me? That would be amazing. And all of a sudden, if you do that enough times, some people will, some people won't. So what? Just keep moving forward, because the people that do become raving fans, and then they also influence other people to take the action. So community is another weapon of mass influence. Number 8 is scarcity. What's scarcity? Well, when there's less of something, we want more of it. Think of diamonds, right? Why are diamonds so valuable to us? Because they're scarce, they're hard to find, they're really expensive. The stones are so hard, they're really difficult to cut. This is a scarce thing. This is why diamonds hold their value and continue to increase in value, simply because there's a limited or finite number of them. Another great example is cryptocurrency, right? Cryptocurrency, when it first started with Bitcoin, they were mining currency out of the computers and everything that they built, and people were like, how do I get it? And there was a finite amount, and then everybody went crazy over it, right? So in your world, how do you create scarcity? If you're building a mastermind, for example, have a limited number of seats. In our world, we have 3 mastermind sessions that we typically host every single year, and there's only 20 seats available. That's 60 total people for the year that we work very closely one-on-one with. And that's it, right? And this allows us to increase price levels to a point where it makes sense to warrant our time investment with those people so that we can actually help them to get the results and the impact that they're looking to make. So scarcity is something that you can use today in your business. If you're selling books, you have a limited quantity. If you're selling software, hey, maybe you only have this many people allowed into the software, and on and on and on. So creating scarcity is a fairly easy thing to do. I would encourage you to use this in your world. Number 9, finally, the last one is social proof. If we see others taking action, we're inclined to take action, right? Think of food. Think about when you drive into a town and it's late and you're like, I've never been to this town and I don't know where I'm gonna go eat. And you're driving down the road and you see a restaurant on the left and the right, and you say, all these cars are on this restaurant here on the left, and then there's like one car over here in this restaurant on the right. Most of the time you're gonna say, oh, there's more people over there, I'm gonna go there, simply because that's the social proof of, here's all these cars in the parking lot, that seems like it might be a more popular place or whatever. Same thing in your business, right? How do we do it in our business? Well, our business is going to be, who have you worked with, right? Not only, it could be a client, it could be a prospect, it could be somebody that you just know that gives you a good voucher. This is why LinkedIn and all these other profiles have, can I give this person a recommendation? Or you can ask for recommendations so that you can get social proof set onto your, your web pages or on your social channels, and then people see all the results. Like, I know a couple of people that have lived off social proof. A lot of people in the gym coaching space, for example, I've seen checkout pages that just have like a buy area and then thousands of testimonials of people from the social proof game. And so this is something that you need to collect. And if you need help on finding sources, there's a lot of different websites that can do it. One of my favorites is reviewkangaroo.com. That one is owned by a buddy of mine. And if you want to go check it out, his name is Brennan. He's an awesome dude. So with that said, these are the 9 weapons of mass influence, and I hope they help you, and I hope you take them today and you put them in your world. Why? Because I know if you do this, you will have more success, and that's what everybody seems to always want. So with that said, guess what? You've just been tuned up. It's Thursday, and I can't wait to see you next time.